Today's passage is John chapter 14, verses 1 to 14. Earlier this week, the church celebrated the feast of St. Philip and St. James. A number of churches are dedicated to this pair of apostles and are affectionately known as Pip and Jay. It's surprising how little we know about some of the 12, apart from legends, that is. But St. Philip is named here in John as the spokesperson of the 12 on this occasion, and also at the feeding of the 5,000. He was called to be a disciple in the first chapter of the Gospel, and he himself brought Nathanael to the Lord, so he's thought of as an early witness to the Gospel. James was the son of Alphaeus, and is known as St. James the Less, to distinguish him from the other better-known James, brother of John and son of Zebedee. They share a feast between them, because their relics lie together beneath a church in Rome which was dedicated to them on this day in the year 560. Today's passage is very familiar up to verse 6, as that part is often read at funerals. It includes Thomas's question, good old doubting Thomas, who expressed the doubts they were all probably feeling. In the following section, from verse 7, we have Philip's question. And again, I imagine they all listened with bated breath for the answer to a somewhat audacious request. Show us the Father, and we shall be satisfied. Meaning, I suppose, we'll be sure then, we'll know for sure that you are the Son of the Father, that you're genuine. I wonder how Philip felt at Jesus' answer. I feel a bit sorry for him, actually, as he might have felt ashamed of having asked, or not having twigged before what Jesus would say. It's one of the moments when Jesus seems to express exasperation at their slow understanding. John the Evangelist often uses the disciples as a foil for his teaching. And here Jesus says, "How long have I been with you, Philip? Remind me, how many years is it? Where have you been all this time? How can you ask that question? Haven't you been listening? Haven't you been watching?" This is an opportunity to open up the inner meaning of Jesus' teaching. And here as elsewhere, these ideas are explored in more detail, not just to explain to the disciples, but of course to us, the readers. And the evangelist expresses his concepts of the relationship between Father and Son, giving us a much more developed theology than the other Gospels about the person of Christ, clearly identifying Jesus with the Father. It's easier for us, but then we've read the prologue. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. And then the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. We read all that Jesus said and did in the light of the resurrection, backwards, as it were. The 12 experienced it forwards, and they had to try and make sense of it as things went along. No doubt, looking back and rethinking everything once the resurrection had taken place. Really, they didn't do badly. And our minds are also deeply challenged by the concept of the Father and the Son being one, not to mention the Holy Spirit as well. The joy of the Incarnation is this, that when we ask, as we often do, where is God? What is God like? The answer is there in Jesus Christ. He is our window into the nature of God. He shows us God the Father at work in the world. Jesus said, "I am the way and the truth and the life." Everything we look for, everything we yearn for, all our deepest needs can be found in him. "Do not let your hearts be troubled," he said. Stop worrying. Decide to stop worrying. You are beloved, and there is a place always within the very heart of God for you. God who is love and life.